dial *100 *21 hash and select daily or use the MyNGN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Juko.
Yo.
What you check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda, haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Well, it's 8 minutes past 7 o'clock on this 16th day of July 2024. I'm Olive Monica Najuma, right with Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono and Chantal Olive Akaninda in Studio B, plus Jerome Paul Sonko. Now, the Church of Uganda recently devised means on how to stop the growing trend of clerics from other religious denominations donning a replica of their vestments. Vestments means basically the robes that bishops and clerics in the Church of Uganda wear. So other religious denominations apparently have been putting on the same vestments, which is rather out of hand because one would think that every religious denomination has its own vestments. So on several occasions and incidents, the church claims that religious leaders of different sects have donned in attires of Anglican church bishops and archbishop the same way they do, especially during consecration events. So this is the conversation we are having. We'd like to look at, first of all, Robert, what would you say is the importance of intellectual property in this context?
Well, thank you so much. First, it ensures that what defines you or what you came up with is protected against any other person from misusing it. Now, misuse in this here has a number of avenues. Misusing it to make money, misusing it to extort, or misusing it for any other reason. Now, in the context of the story today, when you look at the Church of Uganda, some want to call it the Anglican Church, but for some reason it is the Church of Uganda. Now, these attires have a rich history of identification. Actually, when you look at that garment that they wear, everything on it symbolizes something.
Okay.
It's not just some that they just put it on. When you look at the archbishop, the ring he puts on signifies, in a layman's simple to understand, the stick he holds signifies something. His is still in a layman's language, the hat he puts on signifies. That's why they are different and all that. Now, and him having dressed in that, there's a standard required of him to act and behave. That when you put on such clothing, such attire, there is a specific way you're supposed to act, you're supposed to behave, and you signify an institution where you come from. That when I look at the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, even if I don't see the head, but I just see that attire, if I'm well conversant with it, I'll just say that has been the Archbishop of Uganda.
By just looking at his attire?
By just looking at the attire.
Okay.
Now, the problem comes in when someone who does not belong to that institution, who doesn't have the training of that institution, who doesn't know the mannerism of behavior, the significance, the impact, the content of each of that uniform, comes up and is donned in that uniform. Automatically, it's abuse. It is abuse. Because you don't know what you're putting on. You don't know how you're supposed to act and behave with it. Then, you're even impersonating. Because if this is supposed to be for the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, you're not the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda.
True.
But you're putting on attire that is meant to be for the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda. Now, before this gazettement, or call it having a trademark, it was okay because they could not claim it 100%. It was more of religious knowledge. It was more maybe on moral ground. But now,
but Robert, one would wonder, the church has been here for quite so many years, right? Why is it that to this day, they had never thought of trademarking their vestments? Doesn't it bother you to think that something like that was left unattended to?
The threats, you know, with issues of religion and faith, you have to tread very careful. The Church of Uganda just never wanted to come out clearly and say that our attires are being misused. First, and I speak this without fear of contradiction because I have practical evidence and the viewer knows that, by the born-again fraternity.
Does the born-again fraternity
You would find
have colours
some
and
members, the born-again don't have any special attire, but you'll find someone who calls himself bishop. Now, this bishop is dressing exactly like the bishop of the Church of Uganda.
All right, I would like for you to pin that and loop Jerome Paul into this conversation. Now, it does say here that the church is seeking to register 42 bishops' vestments with Uganda Registration Services Bureau. But according to you, Jerome, in your own perspective, do you think trademarking the vestments will prevent misuse?
Well, I think that is the only solution to the growing cases that we have now. Because when you look back at the times where we didn't have such scenarios of having different other groups of people seeking for, you know, different interests using, let's say, church vestments or bishop vestments, you get to realize that with those cases, there was no need for strictness on the matter. But when you look back at the importance of some of these vestments, by the way, one of them is geared towards the litigation purposes. Because when you go into, you know, Bible studies and you go into, you know, the journey that the bishops use or that the bishops experience, that is the better word to use, the journey that the bishops experience on their path to being church leaders, there are certain things that they go through, certain trainings, and of course this is well encrypted with the traditional church that today's modern church is following. And then I've also been looking at some of, you know, the reasons as to why we have these garments in place. There is an element of ceremonial purposes that for the leaders in church, there is always that need to show that this is a church leader. Let's say you are a bishop, and it also kind of gives room to show that this one is the leader of the church, or it represents a little bit of what you could call, you know, is it sacracy, something like that, that maybe there is a sacramental obligation this kind of person has compared to others, or they are religiously in a more higher position than others. Exactly. Okay. And this doesn't necessarily mean they are more holier, but at least they represent a more strategic perspective of knowing God way above most of us who listen to what they preach.
Well, you wouldn't be far off to say that they come off more holier, because I believe that's how some congregations look at them. But Jerome,
Yes.
yes, you did mention that they are used, let's say, for ceremonial purposes and to also distinguish who the leaders are. But what would you say to someone who says these are just colors? Why are we making a big deal of colors?
No, I think they're eliminating the, for people who actually look at this as just colors, they're eliminating the aspect of symbolism, which is attached to these particular vestments. Because when you look at the symbolic view of some of the things, is that you're looking at this person as someone who's a little bit more supreme than you as an individual. Now, when it comes to the people who have been misusing them, many of them have just been using them as, okay, just like you've said, it's just a garment. Maybe you want to create content and you're like, let me just wear this and try to, and you just put it on. And then Chiraba has actually used some examples of some of the Pentecostal leaders who wear some of these garments. And you get to realize that the ones who wear these garments carry a certain title with the same garments. So it's like they're not attached to, let's say, the Church of Uganda, but they will come off as bishops in different, religious denominations, but at the same time, come out to the congregation and tell them we are not attached to any sort of denomination. Exactly. But
Though
you're coming in and you're wearing and you're clad in a garment that is attached to a specific, which brings in a conflict of religion there.
Actually, it is impersonation.
Exactly.
If I may say that, because if you're not a bishop under the Church of Uganda, and you're donned in attire that belongs to the to a bishop of Church of Uganda, I'm happy this should have been done yesterday or many years back.
Because
then who are you?
These religions have doctrines they are following.
Yes. Then who are you?
So let's put something very clearly, Joram and Robert. The problem here is not someone defining themselves as a bishop. The problem is the regalia they put on, which is something that already belongs to another denomination. Is that the point of discontent?
Yeah,
that is the
where
point.
intellectual property comes in.
And when you put it on, the viewer or the person who sees you putting it on, one, it may confuse them. Like I said, when I am very conversant with what the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda puts on, even if I've just bypassed someone and I've not seen the face, I may tell you I'm 100% sure that offense was committed by the Archbishop. Because the man dressed in attire, he had the bishop's ring, he had everything that was the Archbishop. So it has been abused and tainting the image of the Church of Uganda.
Okay, now Chantal, you've been quiet. I would like to bring you into this conversation. Regalia, vestments, whatever word you want to use. The Church of Uganda is moving to have their regalia trademarked because apparently it's being used by leaders of other religious sects. Now, in your own perspective, how does this decision impact the wider community, both within and outside the church?
Well, before I give you just a bit of the impact, did you know that the Catholic Church, most of these vestments they originated from the Catholic Church, because even the Anglican Church broke off. That's why they're called Protestants.
The Church of England broke
off to the Church of England.
Yes.
And one of the reasons as to why the Protestants broke off was because they were rejecting the idea of seeing vestments as because the Catholics were treating them as sacred and with great reverence. Then the Protestants are saying, no, these are just the vestments are merely functional rather than symbolic.
Okay, what are you driving at?
Now, my question here is, aren't we missing the point if we are putting our focus on the vestments? Now, I'm not saying that it's entirely invalid, but maybe we need to take a look at how do we regulate the people that put these things on? Because, listen, how many churches are in Uganda? How many Pentecostal churches or people who are impersonating? How many are you going to push to book? Can you reach every single part in the country? I don't know. But if we could put regulation on maybe the churches or on what is allowed to be done in there, maybe we would see, we would cease to see.
There's also a worry of the commercialization bit of some of these vestments. I don't know if you, any of you came across a certain video where a gentleman was consuming what the Catholics normally use as
for the bread for Holy Communion.
For Holy Communion,
yes.
And someone had close to 6 packs,
right?
And he was kind of saying he's having the body of Christ. Apparently
the church only gave one, and now
so
he
for
has
him,
abundance.
he was overfeeding himself. Now, there's also this element of commercialization of the vestments. Why? Because you realize, just recently, the doctors were complaining, seeing their attire being used in a video. That does not represent
what doctors do.
And then this is something that also the church wants to pretty much put control over, because you do not want to see let's say a vestment in let's say a weird video or being used for misrepresentation simply because someone has the ability to buy this particular vestment. I think the church is also looking at trying to protect themselves there. Though again, I would say it's a conversation that will be open pretty much to a lot of discussion.
And Olive asked about the impact. Now, impact would actually be good. How? If someone who was impersonating initially, or who was not, can I call them an ordained priest or bishop?
Yes.
If that person has been using the vestments, they will not be using them anymore, hence eliminating confusion in the public. But then it takes me to the question as well. Are all the people who are false and doing all these things wrong wearing the vestments? Probably not. Lately, you will find a apostle, pastor, and all the names that they carry wearing smartly, but they are thugs.
I think, Chantal, you asked a very important question. Yes, the fact is not all of these are wearing such.
But
I
the
just
fact
want to,
is that some are wearing.
Let me just take you back. I don't know what age she was by then, but when we had the issue of Chibuetere. Now, Chibuetere could don such attire. Even have a collar, very smart, and people would think, is this man a priest? Is it a pastor? But not forgetting that these attires command authority. These attires, religion is a very interesting thing. One, these attire for a long time have been associated with some level of holiness and purity. That if I come before you and I'm dressed, just imagine, almost like a archbishop, and there is not much you know about me, I can easily fleece you.
That's right.
When
just a collar.
When a false,
just wearing a priest's collar.
When a false, would I use the word bishop? Because you have those that call themselves bishops and so.
No, you cannot really. I don't think you can. Robert, just a minute. I don't think you can really call them fake bishops, because in as much as they're not ordained by, let's say, the Church of the Church of Uganda or the Catholic Church, doesn't make them fake, because they also have doctrines and schools they go to where probably they have
not all of them. Not all of them.
I'm talking.
Yeah.
That's why I said
many just baptize themselves. It's like the title pastor. Are you aware that me, you, Sonko, and Joram, I can wake up today and I've been called to ministry. My desire.
No, I hear you.
And then I'm pastor.
I hear
so
you
someone
on
wakes
that.
up and says, I'm bishop.
No, Robert, I
then
hear you on that. And I'm not saying you're wrong. What I'm saying is, let's desist from saying everyone is fake, because some of them are not, because there are others that go to Bible college.
I have no doubt about that.
So probably they have earned the title bishop.
But even when you go to Bible college,
yes,
and you're ordained as a bishop, because I know a number of Bible colleges, I understand that very well. But you see, you don't have that attire. It's not gazetted to be yours, because some are going to come up and say, hey, I'm a bishop too. I went through Bible college. I have a number of churches that I preside over. So that gives me the title in one way or the other as a bishop.
And this is where I would like to ask another question, and I would like for Chantal to actually help me answer it. Before this conversation came up, these attires were, yes, used by the Anglican Church bishops and their clerics, but they were not gazetted. So do we fault other religious leaders that have been using them since the others had not gazetted them yet?
Not at all. We cannot fault them, because not every individual who was in the church leadership of some of these churches was wearing them. And if you're to take a keen look, you realize that it's probably those at the helm or at the top of the leadership of that church that have been wearing, you know, the vestments. So it's not that it has been for everyone, and you can't fault them. If you're saying this is the attire that has been designated for bishops, or if I go to, or if I subscribe to the Church of Uganda, and under the Church of Uganda, these the bishops dress like this, then these people are emulating what the bishops are putting on. So I don't think it is a problem. But now, when we see the regulation, we'll maybe eliminate some of those occurrences. But also, that means that these other churches that have not, that have been wearing them, can I say unlawfully, will have now to make sure that they...
It wasn't unlawful if they were not gazetted.
For lack of a better way to put it, and from the words of the Church of Uganda now, the ones who are
lawfully or
religiously,
you want me to say unreligious?
Yes.
No,
morally, I want to emphasize this.
Chirabo, let's use the law here. Moral, you normally tell us that the court of public opinion has no bearing on the legal system of the country. So you cannot bring morals and religion here when you know that the law follows a certain perspective. But now, Jerome, if the church trademarks these vestments, do you think it will improve awareness to the masses, to the congregations, and then make the other denominations that have been donning the same vestments now choose their own colors?
Well, they have 42 of those vestments that they are going to trademark. The chances are even the Catholic Church has their own.
Don't they have some colors that are similar though?
Yes, they do have similar ones. And then we also have, we even have those from the Orthodox Church who also have theirs.
Yes.
So you get to realize that the trademarking is just a sign for the Church of Uganda to properly tell us that this belongs to us.
Will it
so which means
awareness?
other religions will have to also follow suit to come up with their own vestments, because now I've come to realize the better thing to do, if at all every religion feels they want to have something attached to them, we shall also see at times other, let's say for example, if Muslims also woke up in the day and told us to avoid wearing theirs, you'll definitely see.
And then the Baganda will also come and say stop wearing ours.
But I think this one is to protect, it was more to protect, you know, the church from misrepresentation. So if other churches feel, or if other religious denominations feel it is the right thing to do, it can be a Kickstarter, I should say.
Robert here is whispering something, and as we are closing, I would like for him to tell us why he thinks it's going to divide us.
First, we have been pushing for strong interreligious council. And remember some of the press conferences, you would see someone representing the born-again fraternity dressed exactly like someone representing the Anglican or the Church of Uganda at a press conference. There was so much looking at how do we bring what we can share together. You know, you would have a conference of religious leaders, and maybe they slightly look similar. Now, we come at a time where the Anglican Church is saying, but let's draw the line. Let's draw the line. Now, this drawing the line, I hope it's understood properly. Because like we said, if there are some garments that are very similar to those of the Catholic Church, now if you have a trademark on yours, are we going to say those in the Catholic Church abandon what they are already having and develop something else? So it is a good thing for the Anglican Church, but for the brotherhood and the strength of diversity in unity and coming together, because you have come a long way, where if I'm a Muslim and you're a Catholic, we can't even wed, we can't have, and there is something we are building. I think at such a time, it wouldn't be so good for us to begin looking at special identities in one way or the other.
But the special identities have been there, Robert, and the division has been there since time immemorial.
As I sum up, to conclude with what all of you have said, both of you gentlemen and even Chantal, there is always identity. There is need for identity for every institution, be it a school, be it a religious denomination. There is identity. I believe at UBC we have our colors, right? And if you go to any other institution or ministry, you're going to find that they have their colors. And even the schools your children go to, they have their colors. So it makes sense to trademark what you believe is yours, especially as a religious sect, because religion plays a pivotal role to our society. So we need proper identity, and maybe, I like that you used Chiwetere as an example, maybe this will help the congregations everywhere to identify and know who is fake and who is not. I believe it's a move in the right direction, but it's okay to also disagree. The conversation will end here. My name is Olive, and you're still watching Good Morning Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah yo, baby don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000, or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily, or use the MyMTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Juko.
Yo.
Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda wange, haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief, and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government, designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
In our country, Uganda is a part of Africa, and the things that make us really the part of Africa, the mountains, the gorillas, the wildlife, the lakes, the rivers, everything that makes us the part of Africa. This is a time when we uncover it to you in details to help you know and understand why we are really the part of Africa. Well, for sticking around. My good name is Erin Ale Namisang, and this is the GME Tourism Express, the time that the country has committed to exploring all the hidden gems, all the beautiful things that really make us the Pearl of Africa. This is the perfect time for you to always tune in, and we take you around the Pearl of Africa, taking you around the world of travel, giving you everything that is happening in the tourism sector, from the travel news, travel trends, attractions, destinations, where to sleep, accommodation, and also bringing you people in the tourism sector so that you have different voices that talk about the tourism sector and everything that make it up. Well, going into the travel news today, the first daughter, Miss Diana Museveni, was appointed the new patron on the World Chimpanzee Day that was on Sunday at Ngamba Chimpanzee Sanctuary. And we should know that Ngamba Chimpanzee Sanctuary is one of those destinations in Uganda where you can spot chimps. But the special or the unique aspect about this place, it is that you're sure that you're going to see the chimps. And it is one of that places that is going to merge conservation, education, and leisure. So if you want to visit a destination that merges all these three aspects, Ngamba Island is one of those places that you should really consider visiting. It is nice to see that the first family is really involving in the tourism sector, because we should say that the tourism sector is one of Uganda's cash cows, one of those sectors that really bring in a lot of foreign exchange to the country, increasing the earnings for the government and also foreign exchange. So seeing the first family coming in to engage, I remember I think last year, I think it was late last year or early this year, when even the first son, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, also visited Maction Falls and commended people to go and visit. So it is nice to see that we are all putting together different efforts coming from the top, from the first family, and also going down to even the youths of the country to see that we promote Uganda's tourism. It is really a great move. And that is it that we had from Ngamba Chimpanzee Sanctuary. And going into other news, Uganda Wildlife Authority has called upon total compliance from the public to comply with the new purchase guidelines. Remember, last year, there was a saga about the gorilla permit, the fraud with the gorilla permits, and there is an audit that is going on, auditing different tour companies, and OWA calls upon all tour operators and the public to see that they comply with the new purchase guidelines. All permits, all gorilla permits to foreign non-residents are sold at the OWA offices through tour operators that are licensed by the Uganda Tourism Board. And if you find any tour operator that is booking for you a permit and the tour operator is not licensed by the Uganda Tourism Board, please report this tour operator to Uganda Wildlife Authority or Uganda Tourism Board, because you never know, you could fall into a fraud. And then our residents and foreign residents and also East Africans, those ones for you, you can purchase the gorilla permits and chimp permits from the Uganda Wildlife Authority offices, but you have to make sure that you pay through the bank accounts, you pay using a post machine or mobile money. There are no cash transactions that are accepted by all for you to purchase the permits. So please note that you shouldn't be frauded in this, and make sure that we support Uganda Wildlife Authority in this call that is putting up to the public, so that we together put together the efforts and conserve all our protected areas. That is it that we had for you in the travel news. And if you need to know more about the OWA guidelines, you can check out all their OWA pages, social medias on X, Facebook, Instagram, and also their website. And going into the travel attraction of the day today, it is not unlike the other days where we talk about just one attraction. Today we are going to talk about several places that you need to hike, and we are talking about hiking destinations, the prime hiking destinations in Uganda. Uganda is one of those countries that are really unjustified when it gets to hiking. But remember, naming us the Pearl of Africa just shows you that we are a full package for anything that you need to know for an African safari. Most of the people, when they come to Africa for hiking safaris, most of the people have gone to South Africa for the Table Mountain, others go to Tanzania for Mount Kilimanjaro, but Uganda
has very unique hiking destinations that you definitely need to explore if you're someone who is interested in adventure, getting to new places and hiking to greater heights. Uganda is one of those places that you definitely need to put on your bucket list so that you explore all these hidden gems, parts of the country that even Ugandans never know that they exist. And the first destination that we are talking about is Mountain Rwenzori. I always tell you that Mountain Rwenzori is one of those mountains, actually if not the only one. It is a mountain that is crossed by the equator, but yet still always snow-capped. That is very unique. You're only going to find it in Uganda and on Mountain Rwenzori. So hiking Mountain Rwenzori takes about 7 days, but you can do it in bits, maybe as you train up. If you're not this person who is so physically fit and you can't go to the top, to Margarita Peak, you can hike maybe to the first stop or second stop, but you have this experience of hiking Mountain Rwenzori. It is very beautiful. It has parts of the country that most of people have never seen. And the second destination is Mountain Elgon. This is at the border of Uganda and Kenya. Its highest peak is Wagagai Peak, and it stands at around 4,321 meters high. It is very amazing. It has the largest base in Africa, actually in the world. So hiking this mountain takes about 4 to 5 days, depending on the speed and the way you're physically fit. But it is an amazing experience for you to hike through this mountain, Mountain Elgon. It is, when you reach the top, the views are extremely beautiful. You're able to view Kenya, you're able to view also parts of Uganda. It is very amazing. The vegetation here, you go through different challenging trails. It is amazing for you to hike through. And the third destination is Mugahinga National Park. So Mugahinga National Park has it has very many mountains, and particularly there are 3 because it is in the Virunga Ranges. And remember, Virunga Ranges, these are a series of 7 mountains that are shared between 3 different countries, that is Uganda, Rwanda, and DRC Congo. But in Uganda, in Mugahinga National Park, we have 3 mountains that you can actually hike here. Actually, this is one of the destinations where you're going to go and you're able to hike 3 different mountains if you're this person who is so much into hiking, if you're that adventurous. First, you're going to hike Mountain Sabinyo. Actually, Mountain Sabinyo is my best. I tried hiking it. Unfortunately, because of my energy, I wasn't able to reach the top, the 3rd peak, because Mountain Sabinyo has 3 peaks. I stopped at the first peak, but the experience is life-changing. It is one in a lifetime. But people that reach the 3rd peak here, you're able to see 3 mountains. You stand in 3 countries at the same time. You stand in Rwanda, you stand in Congo, and you stand in Uganda. So one side you're viewing Goma, the other side you're viewing DRC, the other side you're viewing Uganda. It is amazing. If you people, you need to find time and hike Mountain Sabinyo. The beauty is that this one is also a starter mountain. Even if you've not so much hiked several mountains, you can do Mountain Sabinyo. You can hike Mountain Muhavura, still in Mugahinga National Park. You can hike Mountain Mugahinga. So those 3 mountains are really beautiful for you to hike when you visit the southwestern part of the country. And also going to other mountains that you can hike. There is Mountain Kadam in Karamoja region. Most of the people have known Karamoja just for the cultures and Chidepo National Park, but there are also mountains that you can hike. Mountain Moroto is also in Karamoja region. So hiking in Uganda, I cannot say all the destinations that you can hike in Uganda, but there are so many. When it gets to hills, there are several hills that you can hike. Cheganye Hill in Fort Poto, you can hike Wanale Hill in Imbale. The rocks, Tororo Rock is one of those places that you definitely need to hike because it takes about 45 minutes to go to the top and coming down. So please, when it gets to hiking safaris in Uganda, it is a destination that you definitely need to consider putting on your bucket list when you think about coming to Africa for such adventure. That is it that we had for you in the travel attractions. And going into the travel tip, the tip is quite simple today. Just like I will tell you always that the tips that we give you are those that we want you to keep on your fingertips every time you're planning a safari to Uganda and Africa. And as you're going if you're planning for any hiking safari, please make sure that you prepare in advance. Do some exercises, prepare yourself mentally so that you're able to conquer and summit these mountains that you're coming to hike in Uganda. Thank you for watching. My good name is Irene Ali Namisang, and coming up is Joan Paul Sonko with a business update.
Well, good morning and thank you very much for sticking around to Good Morning Uganda. I am Joan Paul Sonko. It's now time for business. And we're going to start off with corporate governance because the League of Corporate in the country, the convention that has the League of the East African Directors, that is LEAD, will convene again this very year, the 25th of July 2024. And this annual event is focused on addressing the most pressing challenges confronting businesses within the region, attracting key business leaders and directors across the region. And this is its third edition. And one key area that has been cited for improvement is the need for greater harmony between the board, management and the shareholders to ensure the sustainability of institutions and various organizations. This LEAD convention is a permanent gathering that unites corporate and non-executive directors from across the East African region. And of course, within the convention, various conversations and discussions, inclusive of which networking and, of course, cooperations is one of the key things that are being looked at during this convention. It is also a platform that serves a vital role in fostering collaborations, as well as also facilitating knowledge exchange within the various business directors and business leaders, especially those within the region. Now, according to Fiona Wall, the CEO of this particular LEAD, she says that the convention will offer a diverse array of thought-provoking sessions. Now, in its third year, the convention is geared towards addressing the most pressing challenges confronting businesses within the region, and it's slated for the 25th of July in Kampala, and it will center around the theme Boards of the Future, fostering resilience in an uncertain world. Now, away from the LEAD convention that will be scheduled for 25th of July, we now turn our focus on Uganda commemorating the International Youth Skills Day, which is annually observed on 15th of July which is annually observed on the 15th of July. Now, the day is celebrated to pretty much raise awareness about skilling the young people and skilling the young population into better citizens and into better individuals by offering opportunities for them to grow their careers and also to enhance their skills in ways where they can turn these skills into commercial gains. Now, the United Nations General Assembly declared this particular day, that is the 15th of July, as International Youth Skills Day in 2014, that is 10 years back. Now, recognizing the importance of youth development to driving socio-economic growth and also to give room for sustainable development as the countries world over are looking at sustainable development goals, you get to realize that part of the sustainable development goals includes empowering and skilling the young people. Now, as the country commemorated the day, Sino Uganda Mbale Industrial Park is one of those particular tracks that our team at UBC was able to monitor and also visit to ascertain how the young people within the same industrial park are able to increase and also grow their skills development. And besides that, when you look at some of these, includes the tailoring section, where many Ugandans have benefited from their skills development, especially when it comes to the tailoring industry. And then also the other bit about it is the fact that many young people have been increasingly growing towards or leaning towards employing their skills in quite a number of industries, especially when it comes to arts and craft. Then when it also comes to metal fabrics and the like. And it's something that many of those that are employed are earning off in regards to their skills and the growth of their various skills within the country. Now, when you look at the workforce in different industries in the country, of the workforce, over 70% are females who are skilled. Then we have semi-skilled and unskilled offering services in different factories. That is in Mbale City, and that is in the Mbale Industrial Park, which is employing close to 4,000 Ugandans, majority of whom have various skills in different disciplines of their duties. And then Sino Uganda, which is the Mbale Industrial Park, was commissioned in 2018 and is among the 22 industrial parks in Uganda. And this particular one in Mbale covers an area of 2.51 square kilometers. Well, that does it for our business updates this particular morning. And you've got to think about how many young people are being skilled of the various industrial parks in the country. But before that, the Forex market, close of business yesterday, and how you are hopefully going to find the different currencies faring on the exchange. The US dollar closed yesterday at 3,694.59 shillings. That is buying. Then selling at 3,704.59. The Great Britain pound was buying at 4,794.04 while selling at 4,807.07. The euro was buying at 4,024.88 while selling at 4,035.78. The Kenyan shilling was buying at 28.58 while selling at 28.66. And the Tanzanian shilling was buying at 1.55 and also selling at the same price, as the South African rand was buying at 205.34 while selling at 205.89. And that is how you will find the Forex market. Now, those figures are courtesy of the Bank of Uganda. Chetal Oliver Kandinda is here with the traffic updates. Keep it. Good morning, Uganda.
A very good morning and thank you for joining us. This is time for our traffic updates. Let's see how we can maneuver through town now. Wherever I am starting from, the traffic is terrible. If you are joining the roundabout that takes you to the Square Road, that takes you to Lumumba Avenue, Nakasero Road as well, that roundabout is mad with some traffic. And Tanan Avenue Turn Avenue has traffic and then loosens a little bit as you proceed, and then later on there is no traffic whatsoever if you are using that road. But also if you are using Nakasero Road, you will be finding a lot of traffic, and as you can see, the traffic then loosens as you get further into the junction that crosses through. There is the part that has Chagwa Road, and then the part that still remains Nakasero Road. Traffic in the middle there, but generally Nakasero Road is not too much to worry about. Just hold ups in the middle and slow movement, and you'll be good to go. Wandegea Road is safe for you to use if you are using Wandegea Road, and if you're trying to connect to Uganda Road, there is no traffic whatsoever on Buganda Road, as you can see. Just slow movement in the middle there, but other than that, nothing to worry about. Lauderdale Road is also okay to navigate, only when you are approaching when you get to the middle there, that is where you'll be finding traffic, and that's the part that has the National Records Center and Archives. You'll be finding some traffic that side, but after that, you'll be okay to move. Now, Mwafu Road is safe for you to navigate, and then now when we join Yusufulule Road, as you can see, Yusufulule Road is safe to move. However, if you are using the same route to join the Mulago roundabout, you will be finding a lot of traffic, and the deep red zone shows a lot of traffic. As you can see, when you are approaching the roundabout, that is where you'll be finding that traffic. Binaisa Road is mad with a lot of traffic, and that is especially when you're closing into the very same roundabout. So if you're using an alternative route, I highly recommend you do that. Chira Road is mad with a lot of traffic, and that is for someone who is making their way to town. But if you are exiting the roundabout onto Chira Road, you will be finding no traffic, except if you are joining the upper Molago Hill Road, that is where you'll be finding a lot of traffic. However, Chira Road is safe for you to navigate, as you can see, and when you are now into the deeper parts of Chira Road, trying now to connect to the side that has Kayunga Stage, that is also known as the Acacia Junction. You'll be finding just slow movement, but other than that, nothing for you to worry about. If you are coming from Chira Road side, the side that has the Chira Road police station, you'll be meeting traffic as you are joining this very same junction. And but then John Babiha Road, that is Acacia Avenue, is safe for you to navigate, as you can see. And if you are going all the way downwards until you get to the lights, or what they call the fairway lights, you will be finding no traffic whatsoever, and you are safe to move. And that's it for our traffic updates this morning. Thank you for tuning in. Good Morning Uganda Agenda is up next.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000, or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you the long walk to freedom of the emergent kingdoms of Bunyala, Buruli, and Koki that were once tributary counties of Bunyoro and later Buganda Kingdom.
During that time of Kabalega, before the colonial time,
we had kings. We had Buruli Wanyangoma Bunyala Kingdom, the kingdom of Koki.
And the Bunyoro Kingdom.
The Kamuswaga, Nayagala Agende, are very protected under Buganda.
The ruling family are actually
Babito.
The Baganda collaborated with the whites.
After the defeat of Kabarega, this county
was given to Uganda as the reward.
Showing at Rhino Hotel Nakasongola, Saturday 20th July at 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. and at Kidera Town Council Hall on Sunday the 21st of July at 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660. Tuko pamoja?
Hello, everyone. Today we're going to discuss a critical topic that could potentially save lives: the top 10 signs of a heart attack. It's crucial to be aware of these warning signals and act promptly. Before we start, please remember that this information is not a substitute for professional medical advice. If you suspect a heart attack, seek emergency medical attention immediately. Number 1. Chest pain or discomfort. The most common symptom of a heart attack is chest pain or discomfort. It may feel like squeezing, fullness, pressure, or pain in the center of the chest. This sensation can last for more than a few minutes or may come and go. Number 2. Shortness of breath. Shortness of breath is another significant sign. If you're having difficulty breathing or experiencing sudden and unexplained shortness of breath, it could be a warning signal. Number 3. Upper body discomfort. Pain or discomfort in the arms, neck, jaw, back, or stomach can also be indicative of a heart attack. Pay attention to any unusual discomfort in these areas. Number 4. Nausea or vomiting. Some people may experience nausea or vomiting during a heart attack. If you're experiences these symptoms, call emergency services immediately. Early intervention can make a significant difference.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning and much thanks for being with us on UBC TV. Welcome to Good Morning Uganda Agenda. I'm Robert Chirabo Unyonyintono. Now, yesterday we saw the Uganda People's Defense Forces 1st Infantry Division arrest. And the issue was they were in possession of military attire. Now, this morning, we are joined by the 1st Infantry Division spokesperson, Major Charles Carbona, with whom we are going to be discussing this and also more regarding people possessing military attires or people masquerading to be officers of the UPDF. Major, you're most welcome to the show.
Spokesperson.
Now, just briefly take us through what transpired yesterday.
Of course, yesterday we paraded, we had a media parading of a man who arrested some time back, some few days ago, called the Mr. Sentongo Adams John. We arrested him in areas of Kakasangati, in Gayaza village, some few days ago, as I told you. And this was a tip-off, and after getting information from the members of the public, the way how he was behaving, and which was contrary to how, as the senior UPDF officers, he could go around putting on UPDF uniforms, of course, at the ranks of Lieutenant Colonel. But the residents around were always suspicious about his conduct, about his behaviors, because some time back They could see him also moving with the land grabbers, trying to give them protection, and he could also go around to police posts if some people have been arrested as suspects, to go there and maybe intimidate the police so that they can be set free. Therefore, his conduct raised suspicion, and we are so grateful. The members of the public were a bit suspicious, and they gave us information. Therefore, it was an intelligence-led operation from our intelligence of First Division that we had to swing into action, and we arrested him. When we arrested him, lucky enough, we found him. He was in our army uniform, putting on ranks of Lieutenant Colonel. We had to go to his residence or to his house with the police and conducted a search. When we conducted the search, we found that he had a number of military stores or military items and goods in his house. For example, he had the military shoes, he had the camouflage uniform, he had the ceremonial uniform, he had military pips, military ranks from the rank of captain up to Major General, and we found even he took some photos when he was putting on our uniform with the ranks of brigadier. We have found the police platoon, we found there a walkie-talkie radio, and a tent, and other military stores. Therefore, we arrested him, we paraded him, but we are grateful to the media fraternity for naming him and shaming him, but also we are also very appreciative to the members of the public who gave us information that related to this operation.
Now, Major, one would wonder first, how can this happen for quite some time? Because when I was perusing through, he's also being investigated on issues regarding the fact that he has also been staging roadblocks. Now, under your watch and the security and intelligence, this man has been committing these offenses for quite a long time. How has he been able to survive? Going to a police station, donning on your uniform at the ranks of Lieutenant Colonel is quite something unbelievable.
I think you remember, we have been coming up and telling the members of the public about some of people who have been masquerading to be UPD personnel, putting on our uniforms, and some of them have been arrested for getting involved in robberies. This is not something new. We have been working with the members of the public and informing them that whoever sees somebody putting on our army uniform and is suspicious, you give us information. When we are talking about security and strengthening security, the residents, the citizens have got a vital role to play. Therefore, foundation security begins from you. Because for you, as wananchi, you are everywhere. But for us, we can't deploy on every inch of this country. We can't deploy in every cell and LC1. Of course, that one, it's because the numbers cannot afford. But you wananchi and civilians, you are everywhere. Therefore, we have been telling the public that always be security conscious. Be vigilant. Give us timely information. Because at least we have got a police post everywhere. We have got local authorities everywhere. We have got RDCs everywhere. Therefore, whenever you see somebody in your area, of course the way you conduct also raises suspicion. Give us information. When you give us information, for you as a citizen, you would have played your part. Therefore, they were seeing him for some time back, some years back, when he was of course putting on the ranks of the captain. Then after some time, some saw him, he was putting on a major. But I think people are not very much. The officer was promoted, but of recent, because of his conduct, they became suspicious and they gave us information. Then when we are fighting criminality, everybody has a role to play in this country. And we have what we normally call as the community policing. We normally meet the population, we have community engagement, we give them our contacts, we give them our numbers. Therefore, we should have that method of neighborhood watch. You see somebody in uniform, you see his conduct is suspicious, all is going to know. It's not wrong to give us information. Therefore, I believe if the population around him were very vigilant, were suspicious, we would have even arrested him some years back. But also, all in all, we are all grateful to see that they gave us information and we got him. And there were 2 ran away. They are still at large, but we are sure and confident, so long as they are still on this planet Earth, we shall get them this time.
Now, Major, also we can say criminality can prevail, but there is something that the public is so much interested to know. Now, when we talk about ceremonial attire of UPDF, we talk about UPDF vehicle number plates. You talk about a baton, it's okay, but you talked about pimps and walkie-talkie. Now, these are not things you can come by. Now, it is also very important to know how then do these end up that this man has them and they are not the fake ones, but they're actually the actual gazetted instruments in terms of pips and attires of the Uganda Post Defense Forces.
Thank you very much. As I told you, I said investigations are ongoing. Therefore, the relevant departments in the UPDF will go an extra mile and find out whether these pips are fake ones or they are real. I think you could have also have heard about that. Even in this country, some people forge academic documents. We have arrested some when we were recruiting recently. Therefore, forgeries are there. Even people can go and get a uniform. But what I can assure you, most of the uniform we got, especially the camouflage uniform, they are ours. But sometime back we also told you that some people can get also uniform through dubious means. That's one. Secondly, some people can desert. We have seen us taking people in courts of law, in the military courts of law, because of desertion. Therefore, but for us as an institution, we try to make sure that we close all those gaps. As we close those gaps, so that our uniforms are in safe custody. But you as a member of the public, you have a role to play in case you see somebody putting on our uniform, and especially when he's behaving in an unprofessional manner.
Now, Major, also this brings me to ask on that note, Adam Sentongo Jones, has he ever been a member of UPDF or anywhere near that or not?
Himself, he confessed he has never. He was so remorseful. He has never been a member of Uganda Post Defense Forces. Although when he was growing up, he had a dream, he had a wish, he had wanted to join the army, and he not really achieved his dream, but he has never served in UPDF even a single day. He has never joined the army. He himself, he testified that I have never. Yes, sir. How he got the uniform and other military stores, we shall go an extra mile, and our investigative organ will come to the bottom of the truth and tell us who gave the info.
Now, what does this mean to the institution UPDF, where people, and this is not the first time, can have your uniform, sometimes some even possess guns, have roadblocks, rob Ugandans, or some can even go to police stations and have people rescued, yet they are not genuine members? What does this mean to the force?
This is an isolated case. I can't really generalize or say that this one has been happening. No, we have never had a similar case of somebody going to the police post impersonating. Therefore, this is an isolated case. That's number one. Secondly, we have managed to get the big fish, but I can't generalize that this one is happening everywhere, that we have robberies everywhere, and even if you try to check in your records or your archives, you will find out that these cases related to robberies, we no longer have them. They are not common. They are not common. Armed robberies are not common because of the effort the army and the other sister forces are put in place to ensure that we curb that type of criminality.
Maybe just a minute, let me explain the pictures on the screen. Those are some of the military stores that were found with Adam Sentongo, and the person holding that number plate is the person we are speaking with on phone right now, who is the spokesperson of the 1st Division. And then in the video still, the suspect is somewhere there, Adam is somewhere there, and of course with the other person who was with him. Now, Major, still going back or coming back to you, Now, to the public, we've seen on several occasions the UPDF warning people, putting on something that is Adam Sentongo on your screen, the picture that I'm speaking with on phone now. That is the uniform he's been putting on. Well, quite some investment into this criminality. Now, what are the implications being found possessing military stores?
Thank you. According to UPDF Act 2005, Section 161, it splits it very clearly and it puts it in black and white. That when we find a civilian possessing a military store, that means he's a candidate of army courts. He can be taken to division courts, or he can be taken to general court martial. Therefore, as we talk now, he's our candidate, but we shall ensure that the investigations are complete, and at a stand time, he will be held accountable for his crime.
Now, you've praised the public in this area for having been vigilant, that enabled the arrest of this particular person. How best more can the public help in fighting such criminality? More so when they may find it very hard to differentiate between a genuine and an impersonator. More so if someone is putting on your uniform and uniqueness in broad daylight with a lot of comfort and confidence.
Of course, in fighting criminality, we normally have a multi-pronged approaches. And the public have to play their part. Even on our side, we have our intelligence on the ground, that's one. Then we also have community policing, whereby we engage the public, also give them our contacts and also tell them what to do. Then also, the media fraternity also, we are so grateful, we have been very instrumental. Even of recent, you saw deploying of military police on different checkpoints. And one of their cardinal responsibility is to stop these vehicles which have got military number plates and find out who is in the vehicle. That's number two. Who are those ones putting on army uniform? Are they military officers? If they are military officers, do they have movement order? Do they have permission? Are they supposed to be in that particular place? And find out. Do they have the genuine military identity cards? Therefore, we are putting in place measures. But of course, those ones who are found with the military stores, and we also have our courts which are in place to ensure that if you are found with military stores, you are likely to end up in the military courts. That all those are measures put in place to ensure that they avert that type of criminality. And we have been doing well, and we are continuing. But my message to the members of the public is that they should always give us information. Because in fighting criminality, everybody has a role to play. And since they are everywhere, the civilians, they normally see these people moving around. They see how they behave. Even if you are suspicious about a person, for you, if you give us information as a citizen, you would have done your part. Therefore, fighting criminality is not a responsibility of only uniformed men, policemen, and the army. But we all have to work together to ensure that we have got peace, we have got tranquility, and we are living in a conducive and a peaceful environment.
Now, that said, you mentioned continuously give us information. Now, how can Ugandans give you information? Because one would say the best place would be police. But there are a bit challenges there, more so when you're going to report a person you suspect. As a wananchi, I may not be very sure that the person is an impersonator.
Yes, yes.
If a man can go to police and order the release of suspects, then what are those channels that if I want specifically to report a person, a UPDF officer whom I believe is falling short of the glory and maybe could be an impersonator? The channels of reporting, effective reporting and timely reaction to the reporting.
Of course, you can report to the police. If you feel you are not comfortable with the police.
Yes.
We have established different detaches in Kampala and other places in this country. And I believe you can't move a long distance without coming across our military establishment in Kampala or in your areas. We have got the PISO, we have got the GISO, we have got the DISOs, we have got the RDCs, and we have got the LOCs. In your area, in every vicinity in this country, at least there is an administrative system. Just give them information. For them, they know how to make sure the information reaches us.
In the press conference, you clearly came out and said UPDF is not involved in matters of land.
Good, yes.
Now, I beg to better understand what you meant, because we've seen on several incidents UPDF officers being involved in issues of land and sometimes being used to intimidate and others take possession of people's land. But you clearly stated you're not involved in land matters.
Thank you. One of the crimes or one of the mistakes this man was making, he could put on our uniform and also move with land grabbers, try to give them protection, try to intimidate those people in that particular area, and people could think this is a military officer. And we have also seen some time back some people trying to use our uniform in dubious deals, and it's not our mandate, it's not our role to get involved in land wrangles. But it is what we call individual mistake and institutional position. Therefore, if somebody, whether he's a military officer, whether he's a genuine military officer, is involved in land issues, is individually held accountable, that one does not reflect institutional position. For us, we're talking about the institutional position, but it is individual mistake. If he makes a mistake, that one becomes an isolated individual mistake and is held accountable, and even he pays for his sins and he is arrested. Therefore, for us as an institution, we are not involved in issues related to land. The issues concerning land wrangles were properly placed in the hands of the office of RDC. Therefore, whoever gets involved in land wrangles for his egocentric motives as a military personnel is individually held accountable.
Major, we are also of late seeing quite a number of people, because now we are looking at abuse of the attire, people masquerading to be, but a number of civilians being escorted by men and women donning on your uniform. And these are total and complete civilians. Now, I beg also you clarify on this. And some of these use these escorts to intimidate, because your uniform has an image. If Robert, I moved out of these studios and I went to my village, and with me in my vehicle, I moved with the two military officers. I want to tell you, I can get a lot from the locals there. So I also need your comment, because there's a slight similarity with these issues.
When you get military escorts, first there are some people whom you might find you are officially given military personnel. Officially given military personnel. For example, you might find that RDCs were given military personnel. But there is a procedure to be given a military personnel, and which office does you hold in this country. Therefore, you go through the procedure, and there is a vetting system, and if they give you military personnel, you should not use these soldiers to intimidate. But even the soldiers know, because they are trained, they know that when they intimidate, even if they are escorting a big person in this country, themselves, because these are trained people who went through military training, they know the do's and the don'ts of the institution. Therefore, when they intimidate, they will be held accountable as individuals. But also, the bosses they are escorting, they should not use them to intimidate. If you are misusing them, our soldiers, our personnel, there is a high likelihood of withdrawing them from you. Yes.
Also, what efforts have you put in place to popularize first your attires, two, information on how maybe one can easily differentiate between a genuine and an impersonator? Because you find that today, someone will tell you, yes, it is similar. Others will tell you, but this attire doesn't have the national flag on it. Recently, I was watching someone who was putting on something that maybe is a uniform of a foreign country and comfortably putting it on. Something similar to what the government chief whip had at Changwanzi, if you noticed, if you took interest in that uniform. And I remember one time there was an issue when some key government officials were seen in military attire. One apologized and one said, but that is not a part of UPDF. I think that is a uniform of even the United States or Marines or something like that. So what have you put in place to popularize and to give us enough information to understand and know?
First and foremost, even our military law, or UPDF Act, is also very, very clear. That if somebody is found putting on any attire resembling or similar to our uniforms, he will also be held accountable. It's also criminal.
Please emphasize that.
Yes,
emphasize that. Resembling or similar?
Yes, something similar to our army uniform, UPDF uniform. For example, when you get a uniform from other countries,
yes,
especially which is common in the market, and you put it on at night, you go and you conduct a robbery. Somebody under that fear and that trauma, he may not distinguish whether this uniform is from another country or UPDF. That's number one. That's why you have been seeing us sometimes even conducting operations, arresting people, putting on uniforms similar to ours, because it is within the boundaries of our army laws that somebody found with any attire or any cloth resembling our national army uniform, it can also be held accountable. But and we also encourage them, if you find these uniforms from second-hand clothes from other places, you can bring them to the police. You say, I have them in my stock, you can bring them to the police. Therefore, there you would have done your part. But the moment you go ahead and you sell them, or maybe we find them in your shop, that means we can start raising a red flag. But you see some people putting similar uniform, almost similar to our uniforms. But to cut a long story short is, let the members of the public desist and refrain buying clothes similar to army uniform, because it's not accepted.
Now, let's look at the enforcement of that. One time you are very serious with the red beret.
Yes, yes.
And we have people who even faced the military court-martial. Today, I think you forgot about enforcing this. We've seen also selective enforcement on people wearing this uniform. We have a number of musicians who in broad day pass roadblocks and enjoy the pleasure of wearing that uniform. We've had politicians wear this uniform. We've had, and you say it is an illegality. You choose to who, when, and as how to enforce this. Why are you selective in nature of enforcement?
First and foremost, my brother, whatever we are doing as an institution, we ensure that we do it within the boundaries of the law. I say that in our EPDF Act 2005, it is very clear that if you are found with something similar to our military uniform, you can be arrested. That's number one. But we have been coming up, sensitizing the population about our army uniform and the misuse of clothes similar to army uniform. You talked about musicians, but there are also some situations where somebody can also officially access a military uniform. For example, you might be having good intentions, maybe for drama, which are educative, but there is a process whereby you have to write to the top leadership of the army and the official authorize it for putting on uniform. And I think we have seen even people, especially musicians, using police uniform. Sometimes they can have an uniform, but your intentions must be good, for example, must be educative, must be informative, and therefore there is a process of you first write and apply it, use it. For what? That one is different from somebody who has got a uniform to go and use it in robbery. That's number one. Two, we have been also coming out, it's sensitizing the masses Sometime back, even the police also came out and said, if you have a military uniform, bring it to our police posts. Or anything similar to military uniform, bring it and report it. Therefore, we have been informing the operation. But those ones who have been going ahead having things similar to army uniforms, of course, some of them have been arrested. You know that one. They have been taken to court. But it's not accepted. It's a bit criminal. Now, for us, our piece of advice is to tell them that try and refrain from buying something similar to army uniform or accessing army uniform from anywhere. Even if you find it on the road, you don't just go and report because it does not belong to you. But we don't have selective application of the law. Whoever commits a crime and he has done something contrary to the army law, you are held accountable.
Now, this may not be 100% in the hands of UPDF, but most of these uniforms are imported into this country. Now, you go to a shop and they are selling brand new, not even second-hand clothes. Of recent, we are seeing marine boots on market. You can access them. We are seeing so many shops selling these. And when we look at the tail end to arrest someone who is buying these uniforms or these military stores, what are you doing to prevent entry? Because you cannot continue arresting people having red ballots, but when these are imported into the country, they pay the tax, then you look at arresting them.
I think the strongest weapon and the tool we have in this fight, number one, is giving people information, sensitizing the masses, and creating awareness among the population, which we have done in the past, which we are doing, and which we shall continue doing. And also we are grateful to the media. I believe at this material time, every Uganda in this country, he knows that possessing army uniform or something similar to army uniform is not accepted. Or it's a bit of it's a crime. That's number one. Two, there are some circumstances whereby business people, they go to buy things outside, yes, which they normally call in the water, which come packed, clothes, for second-hand clothes. And when they are coming in the country, you don't first open. For you, you import it, it is sealed, it is packed, you bring it in the country, then when you are at your place, after buying it, then you cut the whole thing, then you open, you find out what is inside. Now, in that situation, if you have found inside what you have there, there are some things similar to our army uniform, you can move and report to the police. You say, I'm a business person, I imported these things from Western country, but this is what I have found in. These are military shoes. These are army uniforms. So for other countries, for you as a citizen, you would have done your part. Yes.
Now we are talking about those that are not coming in these bills. Fande, I believe you have the intelligence department. Go around town. The number of shops. Now, if URA is getting tax from these and they are illegal, and we wait at the tail end to arrest who has bought them or to return them, as a force, what are you doing about this?
Now, you have told us that there are some shops.
Yes.
And the good thing, I think you know some of them.
And you do so.
It's better. It's better if you could also inform us about those shops. You can move secretly. You inform us about those shops. Even you can inform me when we are not on air. You can also inform me about it. Then the intelligence organ can also move it. But we have arrested. We have arrested a number of them. A number of them have been arrested. But the operation is continuing. It is not ending today. And we shall continue. We shall work 24/7 to ensure that those ones who have got what does not belong to them, whether it is a button for a military shirt, it does not belong to you. You better bring it.
Well, I must let you go, Major, but before I let you go, let me just have your parting shot to Ugandans regarding impersonators, but also very important on military stores.
Thank you very much, my brother Chilabo. I'd like to thank you for giving me this airtime, and also to inform Ugandans that we are working around the clock 24/7 to ensure that those ones who possess our military stores are identified and arrested. But also to inform Ugandans that foundational security begins from them, and they have an instrumental role to play. Let them be giving us information, timely information. Let them report to those people so that we can work as a team to fight criminality.
Well, thank you very much, Major Carbona, for that. We just pray and hope that the investigation will lead to the actual source of these military stores. Because as they appear, I'm not an expert, but many look quite genuine. And like you said, the uniform, no doubt, could have been so that we can get to the root cause of who is that one giving military stores to people who are committing crime using them. And to the public, please desist. You're not a member of the armed forces. Don't love to resemble and be what you're not, because it can land you in criminality. Well, Ruben will be here with sports updates. See you in the next hour. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21#.